Britain in the 1970s was a nation at war with itself. Fuel shortages, mounting industrial unrest, and a car industry fighting for survival. Yet somehow, against all that turbulence, extraordinary cars were quietly born. Cars that deserved standing ovations but received barely a glance. Machines dismissed by critics, ignored by buyers, and swallowed entirely by history despite carrying genuine brilliance. Today on Britain Rewind we are rescuing 10 forgotten machines from the shadows of automotive memory. 10 cars that deserved far more than a difficult decade gave them. Stay close, because number 1 remains one of the greatest automotive secrets Britain ever produced. Number 10, Hillman Avenger. Chrysler's British division launched a car most people filed under ordinary without asking what lay beneath. The Hillman Avenger arrived on British roads as a sensible family saloon, modest, unpretentious, and easy to dismiss. That dismissal was a mistake. Under conventional pressed steel bodywork sat a well-balanced rear-wheel drive platform, nimble and responsive in ways many front-wheel drive rivals could not match. The Avenger's 1.3 and 1.5-litre engines were honest and dependable, while the GT version delivered something genuinely enjoyable to drive. What most showroom visitors never knew was this: the Avenger became a serious rally competitor. Works-prepared cars won international stages and quietly embarrassed more celebrated machinery. On proper roads, the Avenger rewarded a committed driver with real balance and honest mechanical feedback that very few expected from such an unassuming package. Would you have given it a second look? Most buyers never did, and they missed something rather fine. But what came next quietly embarrassed even greater rivals. Number 9, Vauxhall Firenza HP. Vauxhall produced something genuinely radical, a car so aerodynamically ambitious it looked as though it had arrived from another decade entirely. The Firenza HP, universally nicknamed the Droop Snoot, wore a dramatically sloped fiberglass nose that slashed drag and gave the car a distinctly futuristic silhouette. It was the vision of Vauxhall's engineers, who battled politics to bring something bold to British showrooms. Under that wedge-shaped front end sat a 2-litre engine producing 131 brake horsepower, serious performance for the era. The Droop Snoot could reach 60 miles per hour in under 9 seconds and felt alive in ways that few contemporary saloons managed. Road tests praised its grip and composure. The problem was price and perception. Buyers wanted a Vauxhall, not an experiment. Production barely lasted 2 years, with fewer than 200 examples built. Today these cars command passionate devotion. Few people truly realized how clever this machine was. The next car was even more misunderstood. Number 8, Austin Allegro. Few British cars have suffered more unfair reputations than the Austin Allegro, a car that became the punchline of every joke about British Leyland's darkest days. The mockery was cruel and largely undeserved. Beneath its divisive rounded body, styled by Harris Mann, lay something genuinely thoughtful. The Allegro featured all-round independent hydrogas suspension, a sophisticated system that delivered a genuinely comfortable, fluid ride almost unmatched at its price point. Engine options ranged from 1.1 to 1.75 litres, and the twin carburetor Allegro Sport versions were far more entertaining than their reputation suggested. The controversial quartic steering wheel became the symbol of everything critics wanted to dislike, yet ergonomically it made considerable sense. What the press never forgave was its appearance, and buyers followed the narrative. Today, growing numbers of collectors approach the Allegro with fresh eyes and genuine curiosity. Perhaps it was simply too progressive for its own time. The next car faced an even more frustrating misunderstanding. Number 7, Jensen Healey. Jensen Motors had built beautiful cars for years, but the Jensen Healey arrived at possibly the worst moment in motoring history, right into the fuel crisis, economic turmoil, and a collapsing export market. This open 2-seater roadster was designed specifically for America, powered by a Lotus-developed twin-cam 2.0-litre engine producing 144 brake horsepower. On paper it was precisely what the market wanted. In practice, early cars suffered from reliability problems that quickly poisoned press opinion and buyer confidence. But here is what history tends to overlook: the Jensen Healey was a genuinely beautiful, exciting machine to drive. Its steering was communicative, its chassis balanced, and when it worked properly it delivered sports car joy. Later models corrected most early faults. The tragedy is that the damage was already done. Jensen folded in 1976. The Healey never received the reputation it deserved. Do you think the timing costed everything? The next car was overlooked for different reasons. Number 6. Austin Princess. The Austin Princess arrived wearing an extraordinary shape, a genuinely aerodynamic wedge body that caused confusion in equal measure to admiration. Designed by Harris Mann, the Princess was aerodynamically sophisticated long before that word became fashionable in family car design. Its drag coefficient was impressive for the period, and the interior offered remarkable passenger space, generous, airy, and well considered. Under the bonnet sat a range of engines from 1.8 to 2.2 litres, including the smooth O-Series unit. The Princess also featured Hydrogas interconnected suspension, giving it a supple, comfortable ride that executive rivals struggled to match. The problems were British Leyland ones, build quality inconsistency, a changing marketplace, and a name that somehow never commanded the respect the engineering deserved. Critics focused on the badge rather than the substance. Enthusiasts today look back and find something more impressive than the history books suggest. Britain rarely celebrates what it got right. What came next was even more surprising. Number 5. TVR 3000M. TVR was a small Blackpool manufacturer that most people outside enthusiast circles had barely heard of. The 3000M was their flagship in the early 1970s, a raw, hand-built, fiberglass-bodied sports car powered by a Ford Essex V6 engine displacing 3 litres and producing 138 brake horsepower. In a straight line, the 3000M was quick, capable of reaching 60 miles per hour in under 8 seconds. But the numbers never told the full story. This was a driver's car built with obsessive attention to what mattered: lightweight construction, sharp steering, and a sense of mechanical connection that expensive Italian cars charged 4 times as much to deliver. The small workforce in Blackpool crafted each car individually. Reliability was mixed, but character was never in doubt. TVR produced cars that felt alive in a way the mainstream could not replicate. Today the 3000M is rightly receiving the recognition it deserved. But the next car made Britain sit up differently. Number 4. Triumph TR7. The Triumph TR7 arrived wearing the most divisive styling of any British sports car of the decade, a sharp, wedge-shaped body that polarized opinion from the moment it appeared. Critics sharpened their pens before they had even driven one. Yet the TR7 was not the disaster it was painted as. Its 2.0-litre 8-valve engine was smooth and tractable, producing 105 brake horsepower in a car that handled with balance and composure. The real problem was timing. British Leyland's industrial chaos meant production quality was inconsistent, particularly during the troubled Speak factory years. When the Rover V8 engine TR8 variant followed, the chassis revealed its true potential. Drivers who persisted past the headlines found an entertaining, stylish sports car that rewarded commitment on a B-road. The TR7 convertible, launched in 1979, addressed nearly every complaint. History has been unkind to a car that deserved considerably more patience. Would you give it another chance? Number 3 gave Britain something extraordinary. Number 3, Rover SD1 3500. The Rover SD1 arrived in a blaze of genuine excitement, a car beautiful enough to win European Car of the Year in its launch year, powered by the 3.5-litre Rover V8 engine. It looked like an Italian fastback. It drove like a proper gentleman's express. And yet history has been unfair to it. The SD1 styling, influenced by Ferrari's Daytona and penned by David Bake, was world-class. The V8 engine produced 155 brake horsepower and delivered effortless performance, 0 to 60 in 9 seconds with a motorway manner that felt unhurried. The problem, again, was British Leyland. Build quality in early production cars was embarrassing, and reliability issues poisoned what should have been a triumphant story. Better-built later examples revealed what the SD1 was: a sophisticated, stylish, and capable executive express that could embarrass German rivals at every turn. Tell us in the comments which one deserves more respect today. But number 2 was even more remarkable. Number 2. Triumph Dolomite Sprint. Before we get to number 1, consider this: the Triumph Dolomite Sprint achieved something that Ferrari and Alfa Romeo were still only experimenting with. In 1973, Triumph introduced a production car with a 16-valve cylinder head on its 2.0-litre engine, a first for any British volume manufacturer. This was not a marketing exercise. The Sprint produced 127 brake horsepower from an aspirated unit, enough to send it from rest to 60 miles per hour in 8.7 seconds. For a family saloon, those numbers were astonishing. The styling was elegant and restrained, a beautifully proportioned compact saloon that looked expensive without trying. The interior was equally refined, with genuine quality touches that British Leyland rarely managed elsewhere. Critics at the time appreciated it, but the marketplace moved on before the Sprint could establish its legend. Today it is rightly celebrated as one of the finest engineering achievements of the decade. What came next, though, was worth the wait. Number 1. Reliant Scimitar GTE SE6. And here it is. Number 1, the car most people have never considered as a genuine classic. In 1975, Reliant updated the Scimitar GTE to SE6 specification, a larger, more refined version of a car that had invented an entirely new genre: the Grand Touring Estate. Princess and owned no fewer than 7 of them. But the Scimitar deserved far more than royal patronage. Beneath its elegant fiberglass shooting brake body sat a Ford Essex 3.0-litre V6 engine, driving the rear wheels with effortless grace. The cabin combined practicality, a proper rear hatch and usable loading space, with a driving experience that felt sporting and connected in the way great cars do. It could carry for adults and still embarrass sports cars on a winding road. Yet Reliant's small manufacturer image meant nobody took it seriously. History's loss was the enthusiast's treasure. This was Britain at its most quietly brilliant, ingenious, elegant, and completely overlooked. Subscribe for more forgotten British automotive stories. The 1970s were a difficult decade for Britain and her car industry. But difficulty never stopped remarkable things from being made. Every car on this list was not a failure, it was a victim of timing, circumstance, and a narrative that moved faster than reality. Each one carried something worthwhile beneath its skin. Each deserved more patience, more credit, and more admiration than the decade gave it. These were cars built by people who truly cared. If you are new here, subscribe to Britain Rewind and press the bell icon for more forgotten stories. And tell us in the comments, which one of these forgotten machines deserves the most respect. We read every single comment.